What's up guys, JK Disc Golf here, and today I want to be giving you some tips on how to make the most out of your field work. I got a basket, I got a field, let's do some field work. Firstly, with your field work, you've got to identify what do you want to work on. I like to pick one aspect of my game, and I really want to work on that during this field work session. So right now, I'm going to be working more on my mid-ranges and my up shots. So I'm really going to be focusing on getting the disc as close to the basket every single time, making that muscle memory, so I know when I'm in the situation, I have it down packed. All right, I'm to my spot. I'm ready to work on my short game and approach, but the thing I have to do before that to ensure I'm not going to hurt myself is I have to stretch. You're gonna go out there, you're gonna throw more throws typically than you do in a normal round. So you really gotta stretch out your arm, make sure everything's feeling loose and good so you don't end up pulling something and getting injured when you're not even playing disc golf. So make sure you get a nice stretch in before your field work. All right, now I stretched out, I'm feeling good. Now it's time to work on my approach. The one thing I really wanna focus on right now is picking a target, throwing at that target, and doing that consistently. So I have my razor claw. I know that it's gonna hyzer, and I'm gonna want this disc as a hyzer approach disc. So I'm gonna aim out to the right, pick a spot, try to hit it, and hopefully the disc does what I want it to. All right, there we go. I picked my spot, I hit the line. Now the next thing to do, grab your next disc, pick your next line, and hit it. That's the biggest point of field work that I really want to focus on, is picking my disc, picking my multiples, and really figuring out the disc and how they're going to react in different situations. That's what you should really be focusing on, is knowing your disc and know what it's going to do in each situation. After those two lines, I know how they're going to react in certain ways now. So now that I can have that, I can grab those lines and still build off that, throwing similar shots to get better results each and every throw. Same with driving, but driving you really have to focus on your form, and instead of trying to fix multiple things at once, pick one thing you want to work on during that field session so you can really focus on that one change. So I know something that I really want to change in my form is I bring the disc down like this instead of straight back. So now on each and every throw I throw in the field, I'm going to work on getting it straight back and pulling through, because that's the one thing I want to work on during this field session, and hopefully over the 45, an hour, however long you do your field work, that one correction can be changed. And the next time you go out, you can fix the next thing you want. So it's a cycle. You pick one thing to focus on so you're not caused by distractions, so you really can focus and hone in and correcting yourself. I don't know if you can tell, but obviously I'm not throwing my max distance right now. One, because I'm still warming up my arm. I haven't been throwing a lot of throws yet, so I still got to work my arm in. Secondly, is I'm not really focusing on the disc and the distance right now. I'm focusing on my arm getting back. So even if I go full out, I'm still doing the same motion, no matter if I'm doing it slow or fast. It's that muscle memory, that repetition that's gonna get me to naturally bring it straight back instead of down. So even if I throw 100 shots at 50% but I'm bringing it back, my brain knows now I wanna bring it back. And the more I do it, the more repetitions, the more my brain's gonna know, hey, bring it straight back, not down. So we really have to teach ourselves and reteach ourselves. Reteaching ourselves and unlearning a bad habit, it's so much harder than learning a new habit that we really have to hone in and really focus on that new thing. That's why we can't focus on multiple things at once, because our brain will get confused and we won't be able to focus on the one thing we changed. So now I'm throwing this shot 50%, 100 times in the field. My brain's gonna know, hey, bring it straight back, bring it straight back. Really, the key thing is I can sit in the field for about an hour and correct myself. But the difference is, I can't do it for an hour in the field and expect myself to know forever. I've been doing this form for 3 years now. So it's gonna be harder to know to bring down, because my brain already wants to know. It already has the muscle memory built in to bring it down and up. So now I have to retrain myself for when I'm in the field and focus on that. So don't think that you're gonna learn something right away. It takes work, especially when you're relearning your brain, is you have to focus on it. You have to just work and work and work until your brain finally switches its mindset to knowing to switch. Like the tip I said before is knowing your discs, guys. That's really something you want to focus on. I carry 8 destroyers. Obviously, I get hate for that, but each disc does something different for me. So I really have to, in the field, know why I throw this disc over this disc and this disc over this disc and this disc over this disc. So I really have to focus on the field and throw the same shots for each disc to know why in certain situations it reacts differently. So that's why you really have to get multiples, and you really have to break in and understand your disc, because that's something you really have to focus on. You have to have a reason a disc is in your bag. Don't just have a disc in your bag to have. Understand why you use it in a certain situation. You might use a disc only for one shot and one shot only, but you have that disc in there for that one shot. So every time you step up to that shot, you already know what you're gonna do with that. So that's why I carry these discs, and I know what each and every disc is going to do. So I already have that mindset. So when I'm reaching for a max distance shot in a headwind, of course, I'm picking out this disc, because I already know in the field, and I've tested it out so many times, I know what this disc is gonna do over this disc. So you really have to understand your disc, and that's something you really should focus on your field work. Each and every time, you should reevaluate your bag and see exactly what shot is doing you for some reason. You might find that down the road, you're gaining another 50 feet, 20 feet, and now this disc is a little bit more flippy. So maybe you beat it in a little bit more, or maybe you have to put a little bit more hyzer on it. It's that re-understanding your disc, guys. You have to realize when you're beating the disc, it's gonna fly a little bit differently. So you're gonna have to almost relearn that disc as if it's a new disc. So always be evaluating, always be learning. Never be settled with your mindset. Always, when you're in the field, evaluate the disc, evaluate what it's doing on each and every type of throw. In the field, you have to work on things you might not be comfortable with. I'm not very good at that standstill forehand. I don't know how much power I want to get off of it. So if I sit in the field and I just practice that shot over and over and over again, my brain and my body is gonna finally understand the amount of power, the type of disc, all the variables. I'm gonna focus in that quick little field session. I threw maybe 8 sidearm flicks in a row, in a row, in a row. Some were good, some weren't, but that's okay. I'm not, like I said, I'm not good at that shot really. So now the more I work on it and the more I throw that shot, my body and as well as my brain knows more what to do with that shot. And that's really what you want to do in the field. It's all about learning. It's not about trying to crush a disc 500 feet. Yeah, that's cool and all if you can do it, but really the field work is a time for learning. It's almost like a classroom. You sit down and you practice in the field like your homework, and you're just working and working and learning until you get to that test or a tournament or a competition, and that's like your test, like an exam in school. That's where you take all what you learned from your fields, from your practice rounds, and you finally get to put it all together and compete. That's what field work is. Consider it homework. And it's perfect because not a lot of people like doing field work. They don't find the enjoyment, but it's something we have to do to get better. I like that homework comparison. I think that analysis, that analogy, that's the word. I really like that because it's not the most favorite thing to do. You obviously want to go play around over than sitting in a field chucking discs. For most people. Some people enjoy this part of the game. I'm one of those people. But it's just that one thing that might not be so exciting, but it's going to make you a better disc golfer, so you really got to do it. There you guys have it, how to get the most out of your field work. Obviously, I implement this in my game and my practice each and every time I go out to the field. It's got me a little bit of a better disc golfer. Hopefully it can help you guys. So if you enjoyed this video and you want more tip videos, make sure to drop a like, guys. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and hit that bell so you get notifications on all the new videos coming out each and every single day, guys. I have a special event coming April 24th. Mark it on the calendar now, guys. More will come from that in the coming days, but make sure you mark your calendar for April 24th for a special event. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. Hopefully you guys enjoy the video, and as always, make sure to keep throwing.